guys, welcome back to this course. So in this section we will implement the authentication and all the work related to the users in this section. Okay, so first of all, now let's handle this login. In this video I want to create the reducer and the action for the login user. Alright, so I simply go back to my VS Code, and in the reducers I'm going to create my new file that is called user reducers. You can also call it auth reducer if you want. Like, this is totally optional. So user reducers.js. Okay, so first of all, export const, let's call it auth reducer. I will handle my login, register and the logout in this same function. So the auth reducer, I'm going to put in my state. Okay, and state the user that basically going to log in is going to be an empty object, and then the action. Okay, so first of all I have to type here this switch with the action dot type, and also we have to find our cases. So I simply save it, go to the constants, create a new file that is called user constants. User constants.js, and simply bring in from here like these two, Control C, put in here. So that first of all is going to be the login request. Okay, and simply, and then it is going to be login success, and then the login fail. We also have to select the second one, that is fail. So let's save it. Okay, and let's bring in from the user constants, first of all, the login request. Okay, then the success, then fail, and then the clear errors. And we have to bring that in from the /constants/ the user constants. Right, so the first case is definitely default. So in the default case I'm simply going to return the state, and for the first case, that is login request, I simply have to return, I have set to the loading to true. Okay, and then also set is authenticated to false. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to manage you can see that this value that is authenticated, that is true or false when the user login is success. So login success, then I simply have to return from here, and let's put in here the state. Then let's set loading to false and is authenticated to true, because now user is logged in. And then also we have to set the user, which is action.payload. Okay, and in the case of fail, if user fail the login, so case login fail, I will simply return from here whatever in the state, set loading to false, then the is authenticated to also false, then user to null because user is not logged in, and let's also set the error to action.payload. No, oops, error to action.payload. Alright. And for the last case, that is case clear errors, I simply have to return whatever in the state and then the error to null. Okay, so now we are done with our reducer. Simply save it, go to our start.js, and in that I simply bring in not here, we have to bring in at the top. So I simply bring in the auth reducer from the // the auth reducers. Okay, and now let's put in here auth, that is auth reducer. Simple as that. Simply save it. Oh sorry, that is user reducer, not the auth reducer. Okay, so now if I close the store.js and let's go to our actions, create a new file that is called the user actions.js. We simply have to bring in our constants, and then let's also import here Axios from the Axios. So let's first of all do our function. So for the login, so export const login, that will contain the email and the password that we will pass from our login component. Okay, that is going to be async. Okay, so we will get the email and password from our login component. Let's put in our try catch, and for the error I will simply dispatch the type, that is login fail, and then set the payload to the error dot response dot data dot the message. Okay, and then for in the try I will simply first of all dispatch type is going to be login request, and then we also have to type in here the config, because this time I have to send the post request. What I do is I simply set here headers. In the headers I simply type here the content type, that will be application/json, and then I have to send the post request. So I simply type here const, have to pull in the data equals to await axios dot post, and we know that the URL is going to be /api/v1/ the login, and we have to pass in the email and the password, and also we have to pass in here the config. Okay, so we will pass the email, password and the config to our backend, that is going to be post request, and if the email and password is correct, then we have to dispatch here type login success. And then the payload is going to be the data.user. Simply save it. Alright, so now we also done with our this login function. Alright, so in my next video I will design my login screen and send the request to the backend and log in our user. Okay, so I will see you in the next video. Okay, so welcome back. So now let's handle our login component. So I simply oh, I also have this one clear error. I forgot to do that. I simply go to the product actions and simply copy this from here, so Control C, and I put that right here. Alright, close this one. Now let's go to our component, and the components, let's get here a new folder that is called the user. Right, in the user I'm going to create my first file that is called the login.js, RACFE, to create my basic React arrow function expression or markup. And we also have to bring in some stuff. So what I do is I can simply go to the let's go to the product details. Let's copy this one, and also we have to bring in the use state. Okay, and now also we have to bring in these two things, so use alert, and then the use dispatch, use selector. Okay, and then it's also we have to bring in the loader and the metadata. Okay, so loader, metadata, the use alert, dispatch. Let's also bring in the link. So import the link from the React Rotterdam. Okay, and let's at the end also bring in our function. So import the login and clear errors from the not React Redux, that is // actions / user actions. Alright, and let's put in here, so const alert equals to use alert. Okay, and then let's also set here the const dispatch is equal to the use dispatch. Okay, and let's also set here the email and the password. So const email set email, and by default use selector, not use selector, use state. Okay, so I simply for the password. Okay, so I set the email, password, and let's also bring in from the state, so is authenticated. Okay, let's also bring in the error, let's also bring in the loading. Okay, and then the use selector we have to bring in from the state, that will be state.auth. Okay, and let's use here our use effect. Dispatch alert is authenticated, the error. So I simply put in here that if there is any error, then simply alert dot error, and then dispatch here the clear errors. Okay, and then also I will simply type here one more condition, that if is authenticated, then I simply have to history.push to the /. Okay, for example, if user is already logged in, so we don't allow user to go to the login page again. Okay, so if we check that if it is authenticated, then we can simply push them push the user to the home page. Also I have to bring in the history, so I simply pull out from the props history. Okay, and So we have is authenticated here, error here. Let's also put here in the history as our dependency, so history. Okay, and I think so now we can, I can simply go to here and put in here the fragment, and the fragment I simply type here that if it is loading, then I simply have display the loader, else I simply have to display my login screen. Okay, and let's first of all set here the fragment, and in the fragment first of all we have to set the metadata. So meta data, and the title is going to be login. Okay, and then we have to display our HTML. So I simply go to my notepad. Now this is the login.html. So containers are already present, so I simply copy from the row wrapper. So copy this one, so Control C, and I paste that right here. Simply save it, and now first of all on the form I simply type here on submit. On submit I have to submit handler. Let's define it. So I simply type here cons submit handler, and that is going to be an arrow function. We simply have to prevent it from loading, so e.prevent default. Then we simply have to, on submit, we have to dispatch from here the login function, in which you have to pass the email and the password. Alright, so we'll dispatch this login and we pass in the email and the password. Alright, so on the submit we will handle this one, and then the login, and also we have to basically replace the class with the class name. So class name. Okay, so form group, email field, email type, ID, class name, and the value is going to be email. Oops. And then on change I simply have to set email to e.target.value, and the same case I simply copy it from here, and for the password that is going to be password, and set password. Right, and instead of 4 I have to use here HTML before, because we cannot use here 4, we have to use HTML before a 4 in the React. Alright, and let's go here and replace this a tag with the link, that is 2. Okay, and this will go to /password/forgot. Okay, right now we don't have this path, but we will define it later, definitely. And after that we have a login button. So login button class name is this login, and then we also have the register. So we'll simply go to the /register, simply save it. Okay, so I hope that we are done. So let's save this, go back, and now let's also add the link here. I go to the layout header. There is in the header we go to here. Let's put in here the link instead of the button, and link to, we have to go to /login, and I think we also have to bring in the link. No, we already have it. All right, so simply save it, click on reload it, I think so. If I click on login, now I'm on my login. Okay, and let's also give here the on the link, I also give here margin left of 4, and if you reload it, okay, so we go back. Also we have to go to our app.js. We have to bring in here the login, so simply import login from /components/login. Okay, sorry, /component/user/login. Okay, and then here I will define the route, and path is going to be /login, and the component is going to be login. All right, so you simply save it, go back, and now we click on login. The inspect, go to the header, oh, that is capital L. Now I simply save it, go back, and now you can see here our login screen. All right, so this is, I think so, this is from my previous testing. All right, so now we are on login screen, and I don't know what is the email and the password we have. So if I type here like, and password, I simply type here Ghulam and click on login, and now I am logged in. So if I click on the inspect and I go to the Redux and go to state, you can see that login success. So if I go to state in the auth, now loading is false, is authenticated is to true, and in the user I have my data. You can see that Ghulam at Gmail, and all this stuff related to that. All right, and the avatar is also here. Okay, so and all is this. So now now if I go back to login, you can see that I am redirected back to the home page. All right, so now we successfully logged in into our application, and now in my next video I want to handle the registration part. All right, so I want to register my user and then save that user in database, and also we will add more functionalities related to the authentication in this section. Okay, so I will see you in the next video.